So this screencast is for drawing 8 orthographics and 3D objects. The instructions on your assignment page in Canvas instructs you to draw the two ortho views that are associated with objects C and D on worksheet 7. So it's this one and this one. And in this case, I have already drawn the solutions on here for the three ortho views, and then that is the associated isometric object that we'll be working on in a little bit. But I wanted to draw those orthographics now because that worksheet 7 was done in pencil. Now we want to draw those same orthographics in our AutoCAD space. So this is just our standard drawing set up with some special layers for this demo, but nothing else is really unusual about this drawing. And we have our snap settings set to 0.25 with a major line every grid, because our original worksheets had 0.25 for every grid, so we want to match that. And we can just start off with this object. I have these special little objects, so I have to turn the grid off in order to point to these. But this little foreshortened slope goes up 2 and back 1. So in our front view, we see the vertical edge is as 3 across this way and then 2 up, because we only see that vertical component. So I'll just start with that, and I'll be switching off and on my grids quite a bit. I'm going to start where I put these lines in as projectors just to begin with, at 0.25 away from my border. Now I did follow the instructions, and these borders are 4.5 wide and 3 units tall for framing in our drawings. And I'm going to use my line command starting with an L, and I'm going to initiate right there on the grid, so I have my grid snap on, and I'm just going to be counting grids out that I see on this page. But to start with, we're going to go across 3 and then up 2 and back 3 and down 2. And that represents that front little face in its projected front view. Now we want to go, we go back, if we were right here at this corner, we have to go back, but we don't see that. Our eye is parallel to that line, so we don't see that on the front view. Where the next edge we see is this one, and then we're going to see this combination of lines that are seen as visible to us connecting the views. And so I'm just going to use that to count off the grids. I'm starting over here and I'm going up 1, and then I'm going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now I go down over here 1 and over 1 to make that foreshortened slope. In this view, it's not foreshortened though, right? It is, we're looking at the edge of it. And so that closes off that face that we see facing us. We see this face facing us. Now we're going to go over 1 grid and start the right side. Now the right side shares the height with this view, and the hinge is right here. You know, this line is now part of the right side. This line was part of the front side. And so this first little area here it would be on this axis going in the D direction. It would be going from that starting line, which is really just a layout line. We've got to get our grid back on. Goes back 2, and then it goes up 2, and then it goes this way 1 and down to close at the beginning point. And it didn't quite close because I got a lot of little snapper things happening here. So let me just put it back on that corner like that. And we'll get rid of this. This was sort of a layout line. So that this surface over here has a side view that looks just like that. That's the side view of just this little wing. And now, if we're looking at the side view of this object over here, we're going to start a line, and it's going to be coincident with this line, and it's going to go up 2. And I'm looking at that view, and I'm going to go over 2, down 1, over 1, down 1, back. And that is how you get this little shape here. Its edge right there, for your eyes purpose, these just lay right on top of each other. So we don't really see any difference between those surfaces, even though they're quite a bit away from each other on the line that is parallel to your eye. You can't really tell that. So now we're going to look at this. This is a foreshortened plane, looking at it from the right side, and its x component is down here. It's 1 grid, and its y component, or its height, is right there. It's also 1. And so it starts right here at the vertex with the lower face. It goes up 1 vertically and 2 over on this axis, and the y component of that line is actually just 1 grid. And then we'll go ahead and do the top surface. So again, I'm just moving up 1 grid per the instructions, so 0.25 up. And I'm going to draw the top surface of this this area here. Right? In this view, it's this area. In this view, I'm drawing the top surface, which is this area over here. And I can use a projector to get me up here. And the foreshortened part of that plane from the top is 1 unit in the D direction. So it goes 1 unit. That line slopes back 1 unit on the D line, which is the depth. And then this flat surface up here is connected right here, and it is flat. It's the same size as the other one, but it's flat. Now we can do the this highest flat surface is right here. That's the rectangle, and it's 5 by 2, and its corner visually is coincident with this. So I know that it starts right here, and it goes over 5, back 2, closing it off. And now you see there has to be a line here that's the foreshortened slope from the top. So this little foreshortened slope, this little slope right here, this little face is going over in the it would be the W direction, 1 unit, and it's also going down in the vertical direction, 1 unit. It goes back in the D direction, 2 units. So that's why it looks like that. Now we do have this little notched out piece here. So that means that we have something hidden, and it coincides with this. If we put a line, if we put a projector line, put a projector line up here, and of course we have to do our little game here with our projectors, and get them all lined in here. so that I can put in that 45. Now I can find that turn and project it over to the side. So this is coincident with the back side of the top view. So it's coincident with this line. And that means we're one grid in from the back with this notch. And lacking any other information to tell me otherwise, I have to assume that that creates a hidden line that runs from the edge here to the edge here. And I think I missed it. I think we missed that line there. And then same thing here, I would project over and I would have a line that goes from object edge to object edge, like that in the back. So now we have our 3 ortho views, and we can erase some stuff and